Do you want to know how to get kids to react calmly to bad news? Well, you're not alone. Children do not like bad news. Well, I mean, nobody does, but their anxiety levels are much higher. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about bad news and some skills that your children need for success. Nobody likes bad news, but for children, bad news can be especially hard to take. They get their hopes really up. They're processing the world at a different speed and through a different lens than the adults that are all around them. And you match that with higher anxiety levels because they aren't in complete control of everything that happens to them and just their developmental levels. And well, sometimes you have the recipe for emotional disaster. Just one no answer or losing a running race, losing something that's really dear to them. These are the kinds of things that can make life hard for a young person. Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about a simple skill that you can teach children that will help them to be able to accept bad news like champs. But first, I'm going to introduce you to my friend who's 7. Her name is Avonlea, and we're going to be working on the skills with her today. She's going to be talking about this amazing skill called accepting no answers and criticism. Hey Avonlea, thank you for coming and being with me today and saying okay to being on a video for all these people to see. So Avonlea, you're 7 years old, right? Yeah, that's actually a pretty big age. And I know you have a little sister and you have a big sister. Yeah. Does everything always go your way at home? Do you get everything you want? Nope, you don't, do you? So sometimes maybe somebody does something you don't like. That could happen, huh? Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about a skill, and this skill is called accepting no answers and criticism. Have you heard of this before? You haven't heard of this skill before? Okay, well, we're going to learn it. Avonlea, I'm going to show you this book right here. I wrote this book called Porter Earns a Quarter, and it's actually about my son Porter. So this is what he looked like when he was little. He's kind of big now, actually. But in this book, Porter learns the skill to accepting a no answer. I feel like you've seen this book before. Have you seen this book before? Yeah? Okay. And so you know that Porter likes soccer. And there's stuff that happens to Porter in this book, like he's playing soccer and someone takes the ball from him and he gets knocked down, right? That's not fun, is it? Those can be disappointing times. I also have another picture in here I want to show you. Look at Porter in this picture with the frog on his head. Do you see him? Look what seat he has to sit in, the middle seat. Does he look like he's liking to sit in the middle seat? No. Lots of times people like to sit by the windows, huh? And sometimes they don't like the middle seat. Well, Porter didn't want the middle seat. Does he look like he's okay with it? Nope, he's not okay with it. But at the end of this book, we see Porter. Let me show you. Look at how happy Porter is at the end of the book. And this is because he learned a skill. That skill that he learned is the skill that I'm going to teach you today. And it's called accepting a no answer. Are you ready? I'm going to teach Avonlea the skill accepting a no answer and accepting criticism because that's the same skill. But before I do that, hit the subscribe button. There are so many wonderful videos on this channel that you are not going to want to miss, and they are all regarding the topic self-government for you and for your children. So what is self-government? You need to know that because these skills that we're teaching and that I'm going to be working on with Avonlea here, this accepting a no answer skill, is one of the 4 basic skills of self-government. So there are 4 skills that if a person learns the skill sets to these 4 skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. So those skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. These skills help a person self-evaluate so that they can self-regulate. Self-regulation is another way to say self-government. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. And even though Avonlea is 7, she can learn to self-regulate and to self-govern herself by analyzing herself and following through with a skill or with a plan that she has made ahead of time. We're going to help her make that skill and that plan today so that she can use it in all of her situations in life. Okay, you ready? All right, so let's talk about this skill. Step number 1, if you want to follow along with your fingers so you can remember, you can if you want to, but I know that you have a pretty smart brain, so if you don't want to, that's okay too. Number 1 is to look at the person. So let's practice. Should we practice looking at the person? Do you know when you look at somebody in the eyes, that actually says, I'm ready to listen to you, or I'm ready to connect to you and have a conversation. When a person does not want to connect with another person, then sometimes they look away. They're like, no. Have you seen people do that before? Mm-hmm. And so that's how you know a person isn't ready to have any teaching happen at the time. Step number 2 is to keep a calm face, voice, and body. So what does it look like if our face is not calm? What do you think?
I think it looks like this.
Yeah. Oh. And what does it look like if your body's not calm too?
I don't know.
You don't know? So what if a person is like tapping their fingers? Tap, 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 tap. That's not very calm, is it? Or if a person's like clenching their fists, that's not very calm, huh? Or if they're throwing themselves on the ground, that's not calm. But you look pretty calm right now. So this is a good calm body, isn't it? A calm face, and we heard you say some words, a calm voice, and a calm body. So that's really awesome. You're good at step number 2. I can see you're good at step 2. Okay, so step 3, we say something. We say, okay. Can you say okay?
Okay.
Good job. I like that. Okay, you can also say something else. Now, we're not learning this skill right now, but you also could say, okay, may I disagree appropriately? Try that one.
Okay, may I disagree appropriately?
Yeah, sure. So then I would always say yes, sure, if you ask to disagree appropriately. So you're going to want to make sure that you use that skill a lot because it helps you get your way. But for today, we'll probably just stick to saying okay, all right? Then step number 4 is sometimes the trickiest step. This is the step where we choose not to be angry, we choose not to be frustrated, and so we choose to drop the subject. Do you know what it means to drop the subject?
No.
No, not really? Okay.
No.
So when a person drops the subject, that means they don't talk about it anymore. So they don't cry about it and pout about it. They don't get angry and hit things. They don't go and try to ask dad to say something different than mom said. They just decide to be okay. They don't think about it anymore and they don't talk about it anymore. So that can be hard sometimes, huh? Especially when something really difficult happens. So sometimes you have to tell yourself in your head, drop the subject. Drop the subject, Nicholeen. Don't think about it anymore. Just think about being calm and being okay, right? And when you can do all 4 of those things, then you will get praised because they should praise you 6 to 10 times for every one time they correct you. So what is praise? Do you know what praise is?
Praising is to... I don't remember.
You don't remember
Yeah.
what praise is? Has somebody ever told you, good job?
Yeah.
That's a kind of a praise. Or, oh, you did that so fast. Those are all kinds of praises. Or somebody says, wow, high five, Avonlea. That's a praise, right? Okay, so those are all praises, and those are going to be things that your parents do when you do all 4 steps of accepting no answers. So these 4 steps for accepting a no answer also work for criticism. Bad news can be, no, you can't do that. Bad news can be, you lost that, right? Those are all bad news things. Those are no answers that come that are just part of life. But sometimes we tell a child something like, oh, that's not appropriate behavior, so no, you can't do that, or no, you can't wear that to this event, or something like that. Those are all criticisms, and basically the skill set is the same. So you'd use those same 4 skills. So children just need to know that when someone gives them criticism or a no answer comes to them in some way, they do these 4 steps. Look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, and then drop the subject. So now let's see Avonlea and how well she does at practicing this skill. Okay, Avonlea, let's pretend I'm your mommy. I know I don't look a thing like her, but we're just gonna pretend in our heads, okay? So we're gonna do what's called a role play, which means it's just a practice of a skill, okay? We're gonna practice the skill accepting a no answer and criticism, and you just need to ask me a question. Any kind of question that you think that maybe your mommy or some other mommy might say no to. And then I'm going to remind you to do the steps for accepting a no answer, and then you can say okay about it, okay? All right, you can do all 4 steps. So ask me a question.
Can I clean up a mess?
Wow, that's a great question. I would think most mommies would normally say yes to that, but just for our role play, I'm going to have to give you a no answer. So do you remember how to accept a no answer?
Okay.
That's right, we say okay. There's 4 steps that we do. I'm going to remind you of them. You look at the person just like you did. You kept a calm face, voice, and body just like you did. Then you say okay, just like you did. Drop the subject just like you did. You already did it that fast. Let's do another practice. Okay, let's do one more. So ask me another question.
Can I go play with my friend?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to have to give you a no answer. Remember, to accept a no answer, you look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, and then drop the subject. No, Avonlea, you can't play with your friend because it's dinner time, okay?
Okay.
Ah, you did so good. You looked right at me. You kept a calm face, voice, and body. You said, okay. And I could tell your body was totally fine and okay. And then you dropped the subject. High five, Avonlea. Awesome. Did it feel good to do that, to accept a no answer? Yeah? Do you think accepting no answers is going to be useful to you? How do you think it will be helpful?
It would be helpful to help my baby sister because she actually follows me.
Ah, good one. So you would set the example for her. Because she's more of a toddler age, right? And so sometimes toddlers have a harder time with no answers, don't they? But if she sees you accept the no answer, then that means you've set the example for her so that she can learn that it's okay to do that, right? Wow, that's good. Do you think that your day might even be a little bit better and you might even have a little bit more playtime in your day if you don't have problems with no answers because you can just accept them really fast? Yeah, you really could, because it takes time when you have to be corrected, right? Yeah, it does. So if you wanted to give a piece of advice to somebody about no answers, do you have any advice that you would want to share with anybody about that? Like maybe that they should do it? What would you tell if you could tell other children that were 7 years old, or maybe even older, maybe 15, maybe even moms and dads, because they need to learn to accept no answers too. What would you tell them?
I would tell them if they were acting really rude to someone, I would say, you should act nice to someone.
Ah, so that's like giving them a no. Huh. And then what should they do if they get that no answer?
They should act nice to the person.
Yeah, they should. They should say okay and change their behavior. You know what that's called? It's called self-government. This one skill gets everybody closer to self-government. You know what I would like to do? I would like to give all the people that are watching us have this conversation some more help with their self-government. Do you think that would be a good idea? Yeah. Just like Avonlea is learning these skills, your family can learn the skills too. In fact, we all can. And there is a starter course that I would like to share with you. It's called the Teaching Self-Government Toolkit, and I would like to give it to you completely for free. In fact, below this video, there is a link. It says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. Click on that link, and then you can have the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. That's my gift to you. Hopefully you will have much better days at your house now that you know the skill accepting no answers, and hopefully you will learn more self-government skills so that your family will be on the road to self-government.